Hello, my name is Starlight. I want to reach out to all of you out there, see how all of you are doing, and I hope you're able to get out in nature somewhere and get some sun and get some air. And Starlight went out for a beautiful hike yesterday. I wasn't able to finish it though. I had to get back home, but I really enjoyed my day. But anyway, I just want to reach out to all of you. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself. Make sure, you're getting plenty of water and not from the tap. I hope not. You don't want to drink that water. There's some stuff in there that you might not even know about. I know fluoride is in there. And, I don't know if they do this anymore, but we used to get medication stuff in through our faucet water. So you definitely don't want to be drinking your tap water, you know. So anyway, I want to reach out to you today on a different type of topic. And before I get started, I just want to let you know you can give this video a thumbs up and you can share this video. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can ring the notification bell and you can leave a message down below. And if you want, you could follow me on Instagram. Please, I got a few people that have been reaching out here and there. So you can reach out to me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K, Digman Starlight. So anyway, today I'm just working on a new background. I'm not sure what I'm going to really do with it yet. So I'm just playing around a little bit right now with it, just testing things out. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And if you want to get to my YouTube channel, you can at Starlight, and that's Kathy with a K, Digman. So this is the month of June, in a few days, I'm not sure. I was supposed to check that, to find out exactly the date. So I don't want to throw any dates out because I'm not 100% sure. Is Father's Day is coming up, and I did make a video for Father's Day, like wishing them a happy Father's Day, and I had other information, and I figured, after I made that, I do want to touch on that. I did want to touch on that on Mother's Day. So this is for people that have moms and dads, and there's two ways about this, is that, maybe, it's sad that sometimes parents, you might be a parent yourself, okay? You might have kids yourself. And, I don't know who you are, but the universe does, where we all have a background. There are people out there that sometimes, when they were born, they might have had to, maybe their parents couldn't bring them up, and where they had to let somebody else adopt their children, so then they can have, a better life. So all of you have a different background as far as, like your parents, your mom and dad, or, some people have foster parents, sometimes people, they lose their parents before they were born or whatever, or, when they were little. And so then they had to have maybe new parents, or, so there, a lot of things can happen to a lot of you. And then these days now, where women, when they really want a baby, and maybe they don't really want to be with a man, but they might go and where they can get, where a man would actually donate his sperm, where she can still have a baby if she's able to, so, I don't know what your situation is, like if your mom and dad, if they are your real biological mom and dad, or if you lost your mom or dad, so I do know quite a bit of people that has either lost their dad or lost both of their parents, or they lost their mom, or they might not even know their mom or might not even know their dad, or I guess it's a three, a lot of things going on here. Or, you know who your mom and dad is, but, like we're Mother's Day, or it could be Mother's Day and Father's Day, or it could just be Mother's Day, or it could just be Father's Day, where you have a hard time to get through, for whatever reason. It could be like the list that I named earlier with, maybe you never knew your mom, maybe you never knew your dad, and with me, like I'm not going to bring up with my past, but I'm just saying, like with me, with my two kids, they never really had their daddy there their whole time, so it was difficult, like bringing up my kids and bringing them to school, and then they celebrated, like they would actually, the kids would make, Father's Day cards for the fathers, and my son is such a sweetheart, you know, I don't know how many times throughout his life, like he would give me something for Mother's Day, and I got a big, Mother's Day card on my bedroom door, and I did put that out on Facebook, I think last year, that I am the world's greatest mother reward. And my daughter, she's given me many cards, letting me know that and I still hear it today, how I am still a great mother, was I perfect? Absolutely not. I've made plenty of mistakes. And I bet you have too, whether you're a mom or a dad, so this is about, like kids, like I am I'm an adult, but, I have parents, where I am a kid, I'm their kid, where some of you might have a hard time when it comes to Father's Day or Mother's Day or Mother's Day or Father's Day. And it could be a lot of things, there are all kinds of different reasons why, so I'm going to start with one thing or another and then just go through. And I love you all, and I just want to really help you out. And I know, some things are very, very difficult for some of you. And, like we're going to start with, you know, maybe you didn't know your mom or dad. We'll start with that first. Is sometimes, I'm not saying this always happens, but you got to ask yourself, was there anybody in your life that was like a mom figure or a dad figure, which now it's Father's Day, so I really want to focus on the Father's Day thing, but this is still helpful for people that have a mom and already went through Mother's Day. And this could also, even though Mother's Day already passed, but this information could really help you out for the next Mother's Day and Father's Day, so you got to think, is there, did you ever have anybody in your life? It could even, like be anybody. It could have been a person you didn't know and you met them, and, where you became, like good friends with them. And maybe she was an older figure or a man, where, like maybe there was a guy that, when you were younger, he wasn't your dad, but, that he was helping you out, in time, throughout your childhood or even at your teenage years, somebody that you looked up to. So, even if you, like, didn't have a mom or a dad and you were brought up a different way, like maybe a foster kid, I do know people that was a foster kid, where they might have really never spent any time with their real mom, or maybe their dad passed away, at a young age, or, there's other people, like I just met a man, like I said, yesterday, um, actually when I met him, he, we got talking, and it is a weird story, but I'm not going to get into that, but, we were talking, and I was like, hey, do you got any family, just having a conversation with him, do you have any family that live around here? And he said, no. And, we were talking about different topics and stuff. And I don't like to pry in people's lives, but I like to learn and understand people. So I will, I don't want to go in people's private, personal life. So what I do is I'm like, hey, you don't have to answer me, but I do have a question, because this way I can learn about people, like, um, how was your parents? Were they good parents? And then I found out he was adopted. I'm like, I've never met anybody that was adopted. I met people that had foster parents, or, they've gone through that a little bit in their time. I've definitely met people that lost their parents, one or the other, or both, so I was like, so I was curious more about that, but I told him, hey, you don't have to, if this is something you don't want to talk about, then we don't have to talk about it. But it was amazing that he said that, they were really good parents, his adoptive parents, you know, um, and I didn't really get to know the man. I talked to him for hours yesterday. The universe set this whole thing up. So it is amazing how the universe does things. But anyway, is that yeah, think of somebody, like you might have had that was there available for you. I do have a mom and dad, but it's kind of funny is I did meet a elderly lady that I used to clean for, and first day I met her, and the first day she met me, we fell in love with each other. We hit off really good, and her name is Harriet, and it is sad though. She did pass away, but she was like a mom figure, like even though I had my own parents, is that she was like a mom that I'd never really, even though I had a mom, you know, um, she was beautiful, and she was an elderly lady in her 90s though, and we hit off right in the beginning, where I would clean for her for an hour because that's all she needed. And, she was the only client that I did this with. I love elderly people. I have a huge heart for elderly people, everybody. But I do. I have a huge heart for elderly people. And I would hang out at her house after my job was done. She would pay me, and I would sit at her house for an hour after visiting with her. Like we had stories. I had stories. She told me about her history and that she went through the depression time. You know, um, and I learned a lot about her history. She came from a very rich family. They had lots of money when she grew up, so she didn't never their family never suffered. You know, so it was amazing that I met her. But when she passed away, I did definitely have my moments. And I even traveled an hour away later on because I moved out of the area to go and travel an hour away, and only clean for 1 hour, and then I would stay and visit her an hour after. And we always gave gifts back and forth, cards. She was such a sweet lady. So you might have somebody like that, you know, or sorry, is or like if you have lost somebody, or maybe you didn't really know who your parents were, is that this is a great time to be the if you do have kids, that is, to be the best mom or the dad that you can be to the ones that you have now. Where that really can help you out, where you're like, you know you can always learn about how to be a great mom or dad, and if somebody brought you up. So it's hard to say. All kinds of different people bring up their kids, or somebody, sometimes people might let a relative raise up their kids because they would be the best fit for their kids. And so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is people that might have lost their mom or dad, and if this happened, I am so sorry. My heart goes out to you, if you've gone through any of that. And, it's a sad video, and I'm so sorry that this is not a happy-go-lucky kind of video. but, people are dealing with these kind of things, where, I do know people right now, and even talking about this topic, I got like probably about 4 or 5, 6 people that I know that lost, one or the other, mom or dad or both, you know. So the only thing that I can say, and I did go to a group before, and I did meet a lady that was in the group, and she lost her mom and her dad. So right now she's probably going through a hard time right now because Father's Day is coming up, and everybody goes through something different. Sometimes it might have happened before you even, maybe you were really young where you don't even remember them, but you feel like a part of you is missing because of that, because they're not here anymore, and so it can go so many different ways, like as far as missing somebody. They could have been a great mom or dad, or maybe they were not a good mom or dad. Maybe you don't even remember anything, maybe you only know what you've been told, so there's so many different angles on how that goes. And the reason why I wanted to include you on this is because you are a big part of this, because this is the whole reason of this video, is to try to help you. And it might be hard for you even to hear me make this video, is that I do want to reach out to you and let you know that some things, people do struggle with getting healed and stuff like that. And I am not a psychiatrist. I am not I always get some names mixed up. I am not like a doctor, but, I do have a big, huge heart to help people. But what I have learned is that, meditation, like guided meditations are very, very, very good. Besides, seeing therapy would really help you out. And if you don't, that is, like if you don't have anybody to talk to, you might want to, seek a therapist, somebody, like to help you out through these times when you do go through it. I do know some people that, they have been struggling with this for a long time in their life because their mom, like at least I know their mom was a great mom, you know, and, she is going through some hard stuff in her life, a person I met, and she's a beautiful girl, the lady that I met. Yeah, I never got to meet her mom. I'm not sure if her dad is still around or not. Where I'm not in contact. I am a little bit, but not really like face-to-face kind of contact. Where she is on Facebook. Is that she's a sweet lady. I only got to know her for a short time, in person, and she was such a giving girl, beautiful heart, and so. And I really just want to let you know that really therapy can really help you out. Like, if you don't have anybody to talk to, and I understand what it's like when you want to talk to some people and you feel like, they're too busy. They got their own family. They got their own problems. Nobody has time, like to listen to my problems because they got so much of their own stuff going on. And a lot of times we don't want to be a burden to other people, like and thinking that, then we feel less of ourselves. And I don't want you to feel that way at all. Is that you can really go to therapy where at least you have somebody to, like to talk with. And therapy or counselors, it might, it might, like I'm sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied here. When it comes to therapy, it might take some time, like to get to know your therapist and, like where you can get a connection, and if you meet somebody and it didn't work and you just didn't vibe right with each other, because that does happen. Starlight went through that many times trying to find somebody, and, and I gave up. Don't give up. What you can do is you can say, hey, you know what? Nothing to get against the person, but really, I just didn't feel it with that one. Is there another therapist that you can, give me so I can, see how that works. So it might take time on that. But I really want to really encourage you to look online, like on YouTube, for guided meditations. And you might, like there's so many different kinds, like of meditations that you can do a guided meditations for people that actually have lost their loved ones. Things that will really help you out with that, where you can release that out of your body, that energy of that loss, like that you feel in your body. And it is hard, like I said, I still have my mom and dad, so I cannot relate to that. I did lose somebody that was like a mom figure, but she was not my mom, and I loved her. I loved her so much, you know. So that is what I wanted to let you know is to, and you always want to, like, it is hard though, is like you kind of have to, like some people, they do have to be careful with the holidays. It's, to try to, like, stay in the now, and you gotta really just stay in the now. And, there's really not, just the guided meditations is what I can say is that even if you're having anxiety or if you're depressed, you can actually do guided meditations. And, and I do got to let you know with guided meditations, doesn't mean that you got to sit on your butt on the ground or on the floor with your legs crossed. And because Starlight tries that, I can only last a half hour. You don't have to do that. There's guided meditations where you can sit up just like I am, nice and straight, have your back nice and straight, feet on the ground, or, it's great to do these outside in a private area or in your house. But outside is so beautiful. I did that today. I brought my folding chair, and meditated out there because I only could do a half hour, with my legs folded, you know, and you will be amazed. The more you practice with guided meditation, and you even can lay down doing meditation. So even if sitting up is hard, like it's good to sit. I sit on my couch a lot doing it where I got the back support. Like right now, my back, you would not believe my back hurts right now because I'm not using my back support right here. Um, so you can do that where, you want to be as comfortable as possible. Don't wear too much clothing when you meditate. And you don't want to wear, like where you're cold either. Sometimes, like in the winter time, I'll have like a blanket covered on me or my pajamas, to cover out. But like at this time, being warm out, you might want to, like what I am wearing, because sometimes you're going to get heated up through the meditation. You could get warm. And so that is my advice for you. And I do love you. And the universe knows what you're going through and the struggle that you're going through. And he loves you so much, And now I want to reach out for people that their parents are alive, okay? And this could be your mom or your dad, but since it's Father's Day, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because maybe you had a mom that was not a great mom, but maybe she did a lot of horrible stuff wrong, and so when Mother's Day comes up, like you dread it, you know, and if you're in contact with your mom and you went through a lot with your mom, there's all kinds of stuff that could have been wrong. Some women are not loyal to their husbands, where they go around and they go and have sex with other men, where they were married, of course, or not married. It doesn't matter because, not everybody's moms were married, when they had kids. These days are a lot different, even in those days, you know. So if you had a mom that was not perfect and did a lot of bad, like did a lot of maybe abusive things, like throughout your childhood, or, all kinds of things could happen where maybe she never even wanted you as a child, where, you know, and if you were in contact with that, with your mom, and this is not very easy for me to have this video, is, like sometimes if things were really, really, really super bad, and not saying that she was, that she did something right. There's something that she had to do right. So you always got to have you got to kind of weigh it out a little bit, and sometimes, like if this was a scale, and if this was the negative side over here and the positive side, sometimes that scale could really drop way down, and where, my, that was a lot of bad stuff, but see, as there's a little space there, it wasn't all, there's some things she did right, you know, um, so I can't speak for you of the things that maybe she did right or the things that she did wrong, you know, um, but you gotta forgive, you gotta let it go. And because if you don't, it's gonna go in your heart space, and like it's gonna where you're gonna harden your heart, and you might end up having really hard feelings about your mom, where, like when Mother's Day comes up, it brings all the stuff back to what happened when you were a kid. So, it is hard to say this, but sometimes, I definitely have to say if you've gone through like abuse as a child, whether you're a boy or a girl, is that you're more than likely going to want to go and seek therapy, go and see a therapist, that is, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you know, um, plus, you know, um, this is really difficult here, is sometimes in order, if sometimes when parents get older, their memories are not so great, and you might remember everything that they did wrong, but they're in a cloud. Or, sometimes parents will never admit to anything they did wrong. Sometimes they think that, they did a great job as a parent. They don't even see that they did anything wrong. They thought they did the best they could for you. And you got to forgive them because you got to figure out how did they get brought up? What kind of education did they have? You know, um, all that stuff is very important to understand that. And sometimes, like as far as anybody, like sometimes you got to let people go in your life so you can get healed. You know, um, this happens to people. Not that you have to actually let them go all the way, but if you're around them and they bring up stuff from the past all the time, and it brings you back to the past of all the stuff that happened, and they never bring those things up, but they bring up different times, and because people do that, they bring up like, oh yeah, they might even say all kinds of weird stuff to you that can affect you in a really negative way. And I'm not saying that you got to let your mom go or even your dad go, but sometimes we might have to let them go in order for us to actually heal. So you might have to say, you know what, I gotta really take a break here. I gotta, if you're not doing good, and every time on Mother's Day or Father's Day comes, and that this thing comes up where you're like, ah, like what should I do? Like it's Mother's Day, and my mom was a horrible mom. Like I go in the store and I want to get her a gift because it's Mother's Day. I did it through my whole life. Always made sure, like she had a Mother's Day gift. But anytime I go in the store, like to try to get a Mother's Day card, there's none of them that say anything that, like my friend's mother, they're a great mom. It's probably easier, when he or she, goes gets a Mother's Day card, and maybe when you go in the, oops, sorry, my back. When you go in the store and you're looking for a Mother's Day card and you read it and you're like, no, that's not my mom. Man, it sounds really beautiful. That sounds exactly what I would love to have as a mom to do all these beautiful things, and but that doesn't say anything. I can't give her this card. I would love to give her this card, but I would be lying, if I gave her this card. So sometimes, that I actually did this not too long ago. It's, like I there's, different places that people get cards, where sometimes you might want to just go to a Dollar General store or dollar store, really. Sometimes all they got is Happy Mother's Day. That's it. Happy Mother's Day. There you go. And I'm not saying that you have to give her something, you know. You don't even have to give a card. Maybe the card is way too much, because of what you've gone through as a child. So you might just want to, you don't have to be around her or be there, because if she's the type of person that's always bringing up the past and you're trying to heal from the past, you're trying to let the past go, you're trying to leave it behind you, but she keeps on bringing it up. So how are you ever going to get healed if the stuff keeps getting brought up? So you might have to, love her from a distance, and say, hey, I love you, and you definitely got to forgive her. And so pretty much the stuff that I'm saying about moms goes the same way for fathers. Maybe your mom was great, maybe you had a great mom. Maybe your dad was not a good dad figure, a good example, or maybe both of them were not maybe you had both parents that were not good parents. They definitely fall short from being perfect. Not that they did everything wrong. You got to think of the good things they did too. Think of the good things. Did they give you food? Did they make sure you were clean? Did they, get you to do chores but not overdo it like a slave? You got to think of the things that they did do. When you were sick, did they take you to the doctors? You know, um, did they buy your clothes? Did they try to buy something? And I'm not saying about Santa Claus and all that because, did they buy gifts for you? Like when it was your birthday. Were they being honest with you? They could have done a horrible job as being a mom or a dad, but try to look at some of the positive things they possibly could have done, And, so with the Father's Day, the same thing. Maybe he was and this goes with both parents, this could go both ways, is that maybe your parents were alcoholics, where they were abusive, and that happened a lot, before my time, during my time, and a lot, it still happens these days, where kids are being beaten, you know, um, so there's all different kinds of forms of abuse. It could have been verbally abuse, calling you names and stuff like that. Is that you really got to let it go. You got to forgive him as well. If he had a dad, and there's sometimes girls or boys, they get there's sexual abuse, verbal abuse, neglect. Maybe he was not faithful to your mom. Maybe the whole family fell apart. Maybe he wasn't a good worker. Maybe he didn't go out and work. Maybe he was lazy. Maybe he didn't provide. Maybe he didn't protect you. There's so many different things that a father or a mother could be guilty of. So you got to forgive them. You got to, you're never going to forget about it, but you got to forgive them because it's affecting your heart space if you don't. And you might be struggling in life right now where you're trying to get somewhere and maybe it's not going to happen because your heart is closed. So guided meditations will really help you out with we're letting that stuff out of your body, and I do have a great guy for that on YouTube is Steve Noble, it's a guided meditation and he actually helps people heal, by doing meditations to let that stuff out of your body, like any kind of abuse. And it doesn't happen overnight. You gotta kind of keep on doing this, try to really learn about meditations, learn about the chakras, learn about all that stuff. So then, before you meditate, then you know where the chakras are, what they do, and all that. So then when you're doing the guided meditations, it will help you. And same like what I said with your mom, if your dad if it's devastating for you to be around your dad today, and no matter how old you are, you know, and you're trying to get healed, and you can't forget about the past. You know, you just keep on, and family members just keep on bringing it up, or you know, holidays. You know, like the holidays, you know, like you think of what happened, you know, during holidays or birthdays or whatever, and you're having a hard time to get through life. You know, sometimes you might have to go on vacation with your family and just say, you know what, I am struggling right now, and I really need to take care of myself. I am really, this has been really, I just can't seem to get anywhere with this, and it just keeps on a spiral going down, you know, and if you're going through that, you might, you know, I know a lot of kids love their mom and dad, but, you know, sometimes you got to let them go, you know, so you can get healed and get some help for yourself, you know, and you might want to consider also getting some therapy. You know, if you don't have anybody to talk to, especially if it's about something really horrible like abuse, no matter what kind of abuse, you know, talking it out really is helpful. And as you get, you know, you go grow more and you get more help for this, is that there's other videos I will be making, is that your thoughts are not your own, and you got to let go of the past. You don't want to keep on thinking about it and dwelling on it. And I thought that was the way I had to heal. I thought I had to face it all the time. I did it all backwards. I thought I had to, you know, I was always asking why. Why did it happen? But, you know, the universe has, you know, like things happen for a reason sometimes, even though sometimes we may never understand why things happen, you know. Sometimes God wants to use you later on so you can help other kids and other families, so then you can help them to see the signs, and so then they don't go through it. You know, maybe, you know, that could be it, you know, so you can warn people the things, how to keep your family safe, and, you know, to help them out so then they don't go through that, or they can get help before it happens. You know, so I am sorry that this is a downer video, but it's not really a downer video because you can get help, all of you. Is that you need to reach out. You got to be careful who you talk to, though. You can't just talk to anybody. And after, you know, like, especially if you've gone through abuse with your family, is that, like I said, you will be surprised if you have tried to get healed for the longest time, and the past has just been in your face the whole time. It's like you're like a, you know, like a boo boo on your hand. You're just picking the scab over and over again. It starts healing, and you're like, oh, you know, it never heals. You're too busy scratching it again, and then it hurts and it bleeds again. Sometimes you got to let it go. Sometimes you got to let people go. You know, you got to let them go sometimes, so then you can have that time, so you can heal. And then, you know, the thoughts and all this, and the past and the things that happen, the visuals that you get, the triggers and all that stuff, it gets easier because you let that go. You, they're back there now. You want to keep it back there, you know. So I thought the wrong way when I was younger, you know, and you don't want to really think about the past, you know, is that you want to let it go and stay in the now, you know, right here, right now. Is that you want to let it go and focus on what you're doing today. You know, like forget about what happened. You can't do anything about what happened a long time ago. You know, the best thing I can say is the guided meditations, and you know, I will be making other videos because I did have a special friend that helped me get through this. So, you know, there's about your thoughts not being your own. If you really are seeking help, I do have a special friend out there. He is a deep diver in, you know, Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. He's the one that helped me to actually get healed myself. You know, my head space isn't loaded with a bunch of junk anymore. You know, all the, you know, it is not loaded. Once I let the things go, you know, and then I had to deal with my own thoughts. Then after a while, I had to let go of my own thoughts. And here and there, things do pop up, and they will, you know, but now I can actually handle it way better than I did before. You know, so I really hope this video is helpful for all of you, for whatever you're going through. And if you do have kids, really just try to be the best mommy and daddy you possibly can. Learn, like if you're going through something, really look look online, check it out, or go get therapy and see where you can get help. And I got a lot of videos on, like tips for parents. You ought to check those out. I do. I got some insight, some wisdom, and am I perfect? No, absolutely not. Like you're going to see some old stuff that, I was messing up. I was saying stuff that I wasn't supposed to say, but my heart is in the right place. I'm not looking to, like, I don't even know how to word this. I really, the most thing that I desire is to really help you out, to help you out, like what I learned is so you don't go through it yourself, or that you can protect your own kids. You don't want to repeat things to your kids if it didn't work out for you. So that's why it's really important to, like, really look online. Hey, what do like, and they really should have a 24-hour hotline number out there. You know, um, One of these days, if they don't have it now, they really should. Where if you are struggling with your kids, where you can, just like, and they don't take your kids away. You know, they work with you. They help you. Um, get the help before that you have to call the cops on and on something. They really need to have something like that so somebody can come right to your house, immediately, as quick as they can in your area. That way, it's going to be embarrassing. Yeah, they're going to know some really horrible, crazy stuff going on in your house with your family. But you know what? That they should really have something like that, not where you got to wait for Monday through Friday. What if it happens on a weekend and you need somebody, you don't have anybody, and your kid's freaking out, and you don't want to abuse them, you don't want to do the wrong thing. So I hope one of these days, if they don't have that yet right now, that they should. They really do. There's a lot of people that could really help us out. Not me so much because my kids are all grown up, but for the ones that do struggle. Every parent struggles somehow or another with their kids. It is not an easy thing to be a mom or a dad, especially if you're, a single mom like I was. I just got, like, my daughter-in-law just told me the other day. Sometimes I beat myself up. I think, like and that's what we do sometimes. We are our worst enemies sometimes, thinking that, like, you might think that you were bad, and I know I wasn't perfect. I know I had lessons to learn as a mom, like, and I was a dad too. Is that, my daughter-in-law, she says, she goes, I tell Robert all the time, like, here they're trying to raise up one little boy, and they're having a struggle right now, and they're like, how did your mom do it? Your mom went out to work and had two kids and didn't have a daddy around. And my two kids, I love my kids. They came out super. And I am very proud of both of my kids. So that's what you want to do now is to, so it really touched my heart that my daughter-in-law, and she sees how, like her husband is my son, what a great man he is. That didn't happen by accident. He didn't have no daddy out there showing him how to be a man. He didn't have a daddy to help him how to treat a lady. It was mom. Mom was doing it. I was hard on him, but with love. I used the Bible. I preached the devil out of him. I'm like, I do. I love both of my kids, you know. So, yeah, you gotta, and if you are a dad yourself, happy Father's Day. And remember, nobody's perfect. And, if you've made, like if you've done some things that was not right, with your kids, you can always change that. You really can. You can always reach out to me on Instagram. I love to help you out. Starlight's that crazy chick. I'm like, how old? And I would love to have lots of kids. Give me a whole bunch of babies. I really do. I do. I would, stuff, like I love babies. And I love all the ages, all of them from, infant all the way to teenagers, even when they're out of the house. So, I apologize how long this video is, but I do. I love all of you. I really hope you get a lot of help from this video. And, You gotta, like sometimes, like giving your parents a gift might actually, make them think a little bit, about, like it could put a guilt trip on them. So that's what I did, like it actually helps you out. Like if you just, even though part of you just does not want to give them a gift at all, is, you don't have to give a gift, a Mother's Day or Father's Day card, but, just like, here you go. I gave you a gift, that you don't have to hang out with them or anything like that, if you're looking for it to get healed, you know, um, and then you can work on your heart space. That way you don't, like hate them and despise them and, want to get even with them or, like all that, doesn't put that all in your heart space. So this way, if you give them something, and looking for nothing in return. You don't have to say you were a great dad or a great mom. No, absolutely not. You don't even have to get them. Don't even give them a a Father's Day or Mother's Day card. If you don't feel like it, because if you're going to do something, saying just Happy Father's Day. That's period. That's it. That's all. You don't have to go and give them a card that says all the stuff that they weren't, because it's going to affect you. And then they're going to believe it too. They're going to believe, oh, wow, look at this. They thought I was a great dad and, or a great mom, you know. So I love all of you. You can like this video, give a thumbs up. You could share this video with a friend or family or somebody that really could use it. I believe definitely there's somebody out there that really is struggling with this, like with Father's Day and Mother's Day, or Mother's Day and Father's Day. And also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can ring the notification bell. You can leave a message down below, and you can reach out to me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Starlight. So yes, this video will be, I am just starting to put videos out for kids, so that is why I am trying so hard not to swear or curse. So I did not say anything inappropriate here. I do not believe, anyway, I do love all of you. This is Starlight. Love and light, peace.